On today's show, this artist captures life outdoors using very soft brush strokes. Meet Chrissy Johnson.
Those memories are so sacred.
One paddler promised to try and protect Minnesota's moving water. Find out how.
I have no idea what's going to be ahead of me.
And a recipe worth whipping up the next time you catch a couple of crappies.
Minnesota Bound, presented by Connecticut Water Treatment Systems.
Hey everybody, Laura and I welcome you to Minnesota Bound.
Boat waves, sun rays, and lake days create fond memories for many of us.
You know, we discovered a watercolor artist who captures that lake life feeling in her unique way.
Life is better at the lake. There's a reason why so many of us travel to cabins or live on lakes, because what they provide us is priceless.
It's just kind of the go-to of how we create memories with our families, you know. Fishing, boating, eating on water is how we spend our time together.
Artist Chrissy Johnson has fond memories of her lake life.
There's something about water, I will say that, because I remember just, you know, it seemed like endless days of summer that we would be out in the lake and swimming in the middle of the lake.
She had an urge to capture those adoring moments on paper, using, of course, watercolor paint.
I think I always knew I had the desire to express it. I think about growing up and what we did as kids, and we grew up on a lake, and those are my best memories, and I love that I was able to illustrate how those memories make me feel. I paint either things that I know about or had in my life growing up, whether it's the gear, whether it's the lakes or the boats or the equipment or the stuff that was kind of just around us.
Each one with a fond story behind it.
This is the boat that we just grew up with, you know, being that special thing that with just my grandpa. And in the morning, you know, after sleeping over my grandparents across the lake, he would drive us home in the little boat. That is sort of a memory that has stuck with me for a long time.
Many can relate to similar lake life memories, hence why her paintings have grown in popularity.
And I think that's the thing that's most rewarding for me in doing this, is that it really does make other people happy to see their memories illustrated and captured in a way that they can express in a tangible form, and that's super fun. I love that that is a universal connection, that we all kind of want to capture that.
But it's not just the joy of others that drives her passion for painting. It's the desire to carry on those same memories for her daughter and her son Bowden, who has Down syndrome.
He loves boating so much. I think it's the openness, I think it's the speed, I think it's the wind. He's not able to express that verbally with his speech as well as some other kids. And so when we're out in the lake and I see him completely light up, I know for sure that he's enjoying himself and that he is passionate about this. And so it motivates me to just do whatever I can to keep doing that for him.
So she keeps on painting with a dream that circles back to her own childhood and grandfather.
What I hope my children can fall back on is joyful, like peaceful memories that bring them actual true joy. It's kind of my dream to share with him someday that he can putt around in this old classic boat and enjoy the freedom. His name's Bowden, and it just seems like we should name our boat Bodie. Yeah, we call him Bodie.
We all cherish our memories made at the lake. now artistically captured on paper, allowing us to feel those boat waves, sun rays, and lake days for a lifetime.
Those memories are so sacred that, yeah, it feels kind of neat that we all can feel that connected just by being around water.
We love seeing how artists turn outdoor childhood memories into magic. Send us your artwork on Facebook for a chance to be featured on our Minnesota Bound Facebook page.
Minnesota Bound is brought to you by Connecticut, Coors Light, STARBANK, and by Alumacraft Boats.
His Uncle Mark lends support and a helping hand.
I started July 7th of last year, 2017, and I will go through October of this year. You drive glamorous vehicles when you canoe full-time, as you can see. That'll do it.
Clean water isn't something you take for granted anymore. It's real right now, and the degradation is continuing.
Large majority of Minnesotans aren't aware that almost half our water is contaminated in some form,
including the Snake River.
This is the 18th river that I am attempting to through paddle. You know, it's a new river, and in most cases, I have no idea what's going to be ahead of me.
Minnesota's DNR has mapped 34 rivers that flow nearly 4,500 miles. Jay plans to paddle every mile.
This video is for the DNR. This is the Bear Creek Landing. It is where you start your Snake River map.
His camera documents his journey to show what most will never see. Jay's connection to water began on a soul-searching mission.
I through paddled the Mississippi River from Itasca down to the Gulf. And when we got back, I went directly into the same job that I had before, realizing that I was growing a little bit restless and sort of longed for that feeling that I had on the river. And I just realized that my passion was really on the water.
Following Minnesota Governor Mark Dayton's call for clean water, Jay left his corporate desk for a river view. Today, Waterway Jay paddles to make his voice heard.
This is not a recreational thing. It's my full-time job, and that's how I'm treating it.
One river at a time, his name and his mission catches on.
We're all connected to water, and so even if you're not into outdoor recreation, your connection is the fact that you're drinking this water, you're bathing with this water, you're cooking with it. This started as a river exclusive project, and what I'm realizing is that this is a much larger water issue. So it's not just our rivers, it's not just our lakes, it's our groundwater, runoff from cities, it's agriculture. Everybody wants to be able to continue to turn on the tap and have clean water come out.
Spending day and night on Minnesota's rivers, Jay knows something has to change.
What I would really like to see at the end of the day is everybody in Minnesota understands what's going on with the water in their community. I just think that if we're willing to talk to each other and listen, that there's a lot that we agree on, and I think we all agree that clean water is important.
No doubt, it's a necessity.
Beyond the fact that water sustains life, but it's healthy to be out here and to enjoy stuff like this and to just seek quiet and nature.
One river and one stroke at a time, Waterway Jay will continue his paddle for progress.
Still ahead, the story behind how trees come to be. But first, Laura's in with Chef Jim to share a great summer recipe for your next catch of crappies.
Closed captioning is brought to you by the Minnesota Bound podcast on the Talk North Podcast Network.
Wild in the kitchen today, and I'm here with Chef Jim Kimber from Crave Restaurants. And Chef Jim, what's on the menu today?
We're actually making some crappie tacos today.
Crappie tacos?
Okay, crappie tacos.
Crappie tacos. All right, well, how do we get started with that?
We're gonna do them tempura style. We've got our tempura batter. This is a dry mix, and I've got it separated into two parts. One is for dredging the fish. We want a light little coating of the batter on the fish. And then we're gonna actually mix in some really cold water into this one. That's the actual batter.
So ice water is key.
Ice water is key.
All right, are we gonna pour some water in here, yes?
Yes. And if you get a few ice cubes in there, that's okay. So you notice I'm really not whisking this or stirring it. I don't wanna bring that gluten out in the flour. I just wanna kinda get it wet. So we've got a little house seasoning, a little seasoned salt there. I'm gonna hit little fillets, make them tasty. And then look how light we're gonna just kind of dip those in there.
It's very light. And this is tempura batter as well.
That is the dredge, yep. The tempura batter. We're dredging in there. Shake off the excess. We're gonna go right into the oil.
How hot is our oil right now?
We want it in the range of 350 to 365.
And how long do our crappies cook?
No more than 5 minutes. It goes pretty quick.
Pretty quick.
The tempura batter is actually kind of a paler. It doesn't really get that dark golden brown, but it's really about accentuating the natural flavor of what you're frying with just that little bit of crispiness. Seals everything in. One of my tricks too, you see we got some paper towels down there. You want to drain every little bit of grease off as much as possible.
It's assembly time.
Assembly, let's go. So we're gonna start off with our slaw. We want that as a little bit of a base, so I'm just gonna squeeze some fresh lime onto that.
This is some cabbage and carrots?
This is some cabbage slaw, yeah. We've got a couple different kinds of cabbage, some carrots.
It's good crunch.
And just a little bit on the bottom of each taco.
Each taco.
Yeah, there we go, just like that.
That piece of crappie?
Piece of crappie.
Fits in there perfectly. Switch it around.
There you go. A little engineering.
Yes.
And then here's one of my favorite ingredients to fish tacos. It's spicy mayo. You want to put a little pico de gallo on there for me, please? We got a little piece of avocado. Some fresh cilantro. And there you have it. That's the crappie taco.
All right, ice fishermen and ice fishing ladies, if you had a lot of luck catching crappies, you can go to mnbound.com for a delicious crappie taco recipe. I'm ready to dig in, are you?
I'm hungry.
There's gonna be nothing graceful about this bite.
No, you just gotta go for it.
That is good.
That's it.
So good.
Straight ahead, we head to Minnesota's State Nursery to see how literally millions of trees a season come to life.
Minnesota Bound is brought to you by Shields, Bent Creek Golf Club, Eden Prairie, and by Totem Resorts, the premier destination for world-class fishing.
Up next, we're headed north to Badoura State Nursery.
The place where many, many Minnesota trees find life. Consider Jim and Bobby Meehan a little bit sentimental when it comes to trees.
Yeah, it's been a good time. Very good time.
Long ago, they purchased property and decided to lay down roots.
We moved out here 20 years ago, and it was a farm land, corn and soybeans, and we wanted to bring it back to a natural state. We've planted around 9,100 trees in the last 18 years.
In their planting and in that cardboard box, a story born out of Minnesota's most unique farm.
Today we're at Badoura Nursery. We grow trees for the state land, counties, federals, and all private landowners.
Badoura is one of Minnesota's 2 state tree nurseries. To understand this place is to drop by during the dig.
Every 15 minutes, there's about 15,000 trees heading up to the shed. We've got about 20 million trees in the nursery right now.
Twice a year, spring and fall, the nursery staff jumps from 6 people to 90.
What we're doing is lifting trees. It shakes the dirt out of them and sends them up to the belt, and then the guys put them in the tubs and then onto trailers and up to the shed.
It's basically a modified potato digger, and it draws a blade underneath the soil, and the one blade, kind of like a sod cutter, it undercuts the bed, and then there's a second blade behind it that's got flippers on it that shake the dirt out of the trees.
This work, this dig, it's all about numbers.
We're going to lift 1 million trees this week. We lifted 214,000 trees yesterday. And this field, a week and a half ago, was full of Norway pine. There was about 1 million trees in this field.
The fall diggers harvest roughly 1 million trees. In the spring, they'll do 4 to 5 million. The young trees come out of the ground and into bins that go from field to factory in seconds.
Each one of these folks is counting bundles of 10, and they're sorting out the good trees from the bad trees.
And then the bundles roll past Cheryl Carter.
I'm a root pruner, and we prune the roots to about 6 inches in length.
Cheryl cuts the roots to make planting easier.
It's fun. It's only about a month, but it's fun, and you meet all kinds of interesting people.
See, the nursery grows trees specific to each part of the state. That way, customers always receive local trees. Workers pack 50 bundles of 10 trees into each box. And like that, the package goes out the door.
This is a load of trees that's going up to the U.S. Forest Service, and there's over 400,000 trees in the trailer right now.
Trees not quite ready to ship go into the icebox.
Okay, this is our cold storage. This is a big drive-in cooler, and it'll hold about 1 million trees when it's full. We have to constantly check our inventories against our orders to make sure we got the right trees indoors on the right day, ready for the right customer.
The Mehans, well, it's a little like Christmas.
They are packed very nicely.
Each time their box arrives.
These are very healthy, nice trees.
And they just keep on planting.
To get the air out of the dirt so that there's no air in there and it's tightly packed.
Growing on Badoura's legacy, 1 tree at a time. Unbelievable how many trees come out of that one nursery.
Very cool to see where many of our trees come from.
Yep, for sure. Hey, I have an idea for you. You should join Laura and myself for the Minnesota Bound podcast. This week, we sit down and talk about what the heck we've been up to.
Little sporting clays.
And the walleyes that didn't get away.
Well, that about does it for us. We'll see you back here next week.
In the meantime, don't forget to introduce a kid to the great outdoors.
Transportation provided by Premier Transportation. Call 1-800-899-7433.